Oh god, where are we now? Let's see if we can find a gun. There's one.
8 shots.
And a raptor in the distance. I'm gonna show you a couple of interesting features the AI has, which many gloss over. Notice how the raptor does not have predefined animation frames. Instead, its entire body is a series of physics nodes and bones that control the neck, limbs, and tail. This is called inverse kinematic animation, and was absolutely insane for 1998. Keep in mind, this wouldn't really be used again until Red Dead Redemption and other Rockstar games. We're going to bunny hop away from the raptor to show you another feature, the anchor system. Most dinosaurs are given a specific location they are anchored to. This is to prevent too many dinosaurs from getting into the same location, as the engine can only handle about 4 of them at any given time. Notice how the raptor reaches a point where it runs away, despite our presence. Not all dinosaurs are given this restriction, but raptors generally are. This means you can outrun most enemies in the game. Let's check out a location which most people don't really visit. I'm not sure what to call it. Jungle Fuel Barrel Oasis? I don't know. It's just a cute, quiet little area. What makes this place interesting is that early in development, this level was much larger and more open. There was a large area you could explore and walk down, which would lead to a waterfall and sort of oasis-like place, towards this direction. Most of this level is following the monorail, which was under construction before the island's operations finally ceased. They didn't complete much of it at all.
An idea brought me awake one morning in New York. I almost didn't write it down.
Now here is supposed to be a large T-Rex tooth, intended to be used as a melee weapon. It even shows up in the strategy guide. It was cut shortly before release though.
What if a mosquito sucked the blood of a dinosaur 100 million years ago? The insect is then covered in tree sap, which, over the millennia, becomes amber. The insect is preserved perfectly. But you see, and here's the clever part, wouldn't the dinosaur blood be preserved as well?
Now if Hamid is done talking, I can talk about the only friendly dinosaurs in this game, the Stegosaurus, Parasaurolophus, and Triceratops. They don't show up very often, but they mind their own business, and sometimes they even kill a raptor or two. They're gonna be your only friends on this island.
The blood holds DNA, a tiny spiral of genetic code. Abracadabra.
Another sneaky raptor.
4, 3.
This level has absurd ground geometries and object placements. The boulder is in the way of the road that goes alongside the monorail. What were they thinking?
Sunlight angled down through the dusty air in Norman's office, and I leaned against a solid oak table as I outlined my plans for international genetic technologies.
I love how Anne can just toss these crates with one arm as if they were baseballs. And a new gun, the
6
Ruger
left.
Redhawk. This 44 Magnum revolver does 25 damage and holds 6 rounds. This means it can kill a Tribe A raptor with a
6
single
left.
headshot. Great gun, but there's better sidearms than this. And to be clear, all the weapons in Trespasser are
6 left.
perfectly accurate. There's no bullet spread, even for the shotguns. Aim properly and you'll always hit.
It was the flowering of an ambition born 50 years ago. 50 years struck come to this.
Coming up is one of the InGen safari vehicles that the hunters would leave behind, knocked off the trail by a large predator, presumably.
So when it lowers its head, its neck lines up directly with its backbone, which is perfect for absorbing impact.
You'll find these vehicles scattered throughout the levels. They usually have guns nearby, so it's a good idea to look out for them. This one in particular is a bit of an oddity. It's a green vehicle instead of the more olive-brown versions. The inside of the vehicle is unfinished, so it renders as black.
4, 3. That's it.
There's supposed to be a voice line here, but I'm struggling to find it.
InGen standard safari vehicle. State of the art.
Oh, there it is. Not sure what's so state-of-the-art about these vehicles, though.
The hunters scattered, their prearranged hunting routes forgotten. Only a third of their number appeared at the rendezvous.
Oh, that's not good. That's not good. I'm not gonna make it back from here, am I?
Anne isn't very comfortable seeing this skeleton in particular. The whole island is littered with them, though. And hidden in this plant is supposed to be a menacing-looking Mayan statue, which seemingly watched the Jeep crash off course. I always thought there was a bit of mysticism involved. Maybe some sort of Mayan curse making the crash happen. Who knows? It's honestly a shame just how much stuff was cut from the game. A lot of it's genuinely pretty interesting, and I feel as though there was some loss of quality as they cut more and more during development. To think, this game could have had a continuous geographically accurate path throughout the whole island if every level was intact. I think that's pretty mind-boggling for 1998. I made a mod that uncuts heaps of voice lines and 2 whole levels.
6
Check it out on ModDB. Let's just one-hit kill this raptor with the Red Hawk, and bang!
5.
New weapon, the Benelli shotgun.
7 shots.
Seven-round capacity, 30 damage per shot. It's the lesser of the 2 shotguns, but it works fine enough. Anne holds it really weirdly though, as
6
if she's
rounds.
trying to tuck it underneath her arm. I'm not a fan of this weapon. Look at these misplaced ground textures. This whole level is a disaster of inappropriately placed textures, objects, and ground heights. Another one. What, were InGen staff regularly just doing vertical ramps with their vehicles? It looks stupid. They could have fixed this. A Triceratops and 2 raptors fighting each other. There's not many dinosaur on dinosaur scenarios in this game, but they're always fun to watch. Now let's see who wins. Usually the raptors win this one. Notice how the raptors only deal damage while their mouths are open? During the attack action, the entire head hitbox of the raptor becomes a damaging object. Contrary to what some believe, there is no damage strip located in the mouth. And the Triceratops won pretty easily. You have to be pretty careful around these guys. They have a bad habit of charging the player. They can pretty easily kill you. Now up here there's a location which I genuinely never even knew about the first few times I played this game. The plantation house. It's not even supposed to be in this level, it's supposed to be in the cut plantation house level which would take place after this one. It's only guarded by a single raptor, and truthfully there's no reason to visit the location. At least in the game that was ultimately released back in 1998. It's sort of a style over substance location. It's cool to visit, but it's only here because the asset was already made. There's nothing in these stables. Even in the level that this place was supposed to be in, the house actually shows up after the location of the level exit. It's like they designed levels before really thinking on just how they would work from a gameplay perspective. Basically, when they first started making this game, there was going to be a lot more focus with the physics engine until they realized just how limited its capabilities truly are. For some reason, in the plantation house level, we were going to be using a balancing pole of some sort to exit the level. What I love about this game, though, is that they went for full immersion, regardless of gameplay relevance. It's why you get all these weird rooms and doors that don't actually need to exist, but because of the location, they were added anyways. Now, which door actually lets me into the damned place? Okay, not that one. Oh, this one. Well, notice that the game has pretty good texture work for the late 90s too. Here we have a secret stash of sorts. It's a hidden door in this bookcase. It has a gold bar and a calico submachine gun inside, but in the vanilla game it's almost impossible to open. I'll give it a try anyways. Look at how long Anne's noodle arm can stretch. It's like she's made out of taffy. Okay, let's try shooting it.
4, 2. That's it.
See what I mean? You can see the hidden panel that opens up, but it stupidly opens inwards. It just gets stuck by clipping with the bookshelf frame.
That's it.
Ah, screw it. We'll just explore the rest of the house. Well, there's no dinosaurs up here, but there should be a chunk of the building that can be detached. No, not here either. Come on, where is the detachable piece? Ooh, a new weapon.
Looks like 20.
And I think I know where the detachable bit is. The actual purpose of that piece that fell off is that in the plantation house level, an Albertosaurus would usually attack the player. You'd push pieces of the house off, and this would injure and scare it away. They realized that this was not going to work. At least we found this new gun.
Like 20.
This is the M14. It's a semi-automatic with 20 round magazine and 20 damage per shot. This is an excellent gun. It's one of the best in the game. What it was doing on the second floor of the plantation house is anybody's guess.
9 shots. Looks like 20. It's 9. Looks like 20.
The entire area in this direction is redundant. It doesn't need to exist because you have to backtrack to progress the level. When they cut this level down in size, they also removed an alternative path that would allow players to explore here and still move forwards in the level. That's a Parasaurolophus. They're harmless and they only show up a couple of times. They're also hilariously the size of the in-game T-Rexes. We're getting closer to one of the level's secret locations. It's the beach where Kathy and her rich British parents were enjoying the prawns and wine. This beach was supposed to be in the plantation house level, but seeing as that level was cut, it was put here instead in a pretty comically inaccurate form.
Beautiful day. Sweetie, where are you going? We'll ruin your appetite, darling. We're having prawns, your favourite.
I don't like prawns.
Now, darling, don't wander off.
For God's sake, leave her alone, Deirdre.
Are you hungry? Take a bite. Come on, I won't hurt you. Mommy! Daddy, you've got to come see this! I found something!
This is very, very obviously not the beach where they were having lunch. It doesn't look anything like it. It's not even a beach, it's more of just a small cove or something. And what's with all these bones? They weren't in the film. I think it's a scary location and it totally proves that you could make a killer horror game with this engine, but it serves no purpose and it's just sort of half-assed. We're going to follow this creek bed to another secret location. This game has heaps of riverbeds and creek beds and just beds of various sorts, but not a single functioning river. I'm guessing that rather quickly they realized that the water system just doesn't really work for these locations. But I guess that while we're just walking around, I can just talk about some random game mechanics. In Research Indicates Excellent Let's Play, he theorizes that mass was neglected for melee weapons that leads to their lack of effectiveness. This is not entirely correct. The items themselves weigh about as much as they're supposed to, and can only really swing objects under a certain weight. The physics engine just simply only causes damage if the total kinetic energy of an impact exceeds a specific amount. If you give melee weapons a boosted damage variable, it just makes them a lot more dangerous, but there's only 2 melee weapons in vanilla that have this code. I love how they leave 2 random Spaz 12 shotguns here, as if you'd ever actually need them for the lack of enemies in this location. Getting scared by that damn Triceratops aside, this is another secret location. It's a giant raised piece of terrain that hides the alternative path through this level. Everyone calls it the Hidden Valley, and it's really a shame it was cut. Basically the idea is that you would walk through this nice tranquil forested area instead of dealing with heaps of raptors. It's a sort of a reward for going off the beaten path. Ultimately, while the game isn't great, I think that it gets a bit too much criticism, which is misplaced. People review this game with modern sensibilities, but you have to remember this was released in the late 90s. This is before Halo, this is before Call of Duty. And to be frank, can you think of any other Jurassic Park game that has even a fragment of the lore content this game provides? They aren't joking when they call this game a digital sequel of The Lost World. Nothing else comes close. The game is just technologically insane. It has level of detail so that objects will become simpler or become sprites at a distance. It has occlusion objects that means that it hides objects behind them to lower the rendering costs. Almost every single item is a physics object. All the enemies have hitboxes of varied armor values. There's even a complicated emotion system, which was admittedly almost entirely stripped out of the game. It's a diamond in the rough, and I think it deserves kinder judgment. What I'm trying to say is that, sure, the original release of the game was a complete nightmare which barely anybody could actually run on their damn computers, but once you spruce up the engine with some modern DirectX support, it actually runs pretty nicely. We wouldn't really get a game with most of these features until Half-Life 2, and that's like a solid half a decade later. And even in the 2020s,
9
we
shots.
still get lots of games where objects aren't even a physical prop that can be moved around or impacted. We still get very primitive AIs for NPCs, and the practice of using level of detail or optimization is increasingly less used. Somehow Trespasser still holds up from a technology point of view, and it's almost 30 years old. Not a lot of games can boast that level of future-proofing. Ah yes, the foreshadowing that perhaps humankind was on this island well before Hammond and the plantation house builders were here. This is some sort of Mayan tribe who colonized the island God knows how many years ago. No clue what happened to them. Maybe dinosaurs ate them, I suppose. As you can see, we're back on track with the only way forward in this level, but we're going to just do a small detour before we press onwards. Here there is a waterfall with some cool voice lines, but these are supposed to be in the industrial jungle level. There's a small area with these puddles called Mexico water in the code. That's where these voice lines are supposed to be.
I rode south along the coast. Bus stationed in the early morning. Eating vending machine food in the fluorescent light. Stepping out of the bus in Mexico City. I shouldered my knapsack. Felt the heat wash over me. It was good to be alone. To be nobody for a while.
Anne doesn't talk about her backstory very much, and most of the lines that do were cut. But it's always cute to hear her thoughts on life. She's always focused on surviving the island, and it takes a special sort of location for her to share her deeper thoughts. I can't quite remember if there's a raptor here. Sounds like it's in the distance, but sometimes they sneak up on you and can give you one hell of a scare.
A phone. Oh, thank God.
The main switchboard is temporarily unattended. Please contact your supervisor. La computadora principal está temporalmente fuera de servicio. Por favor, contacte a su supervisor.
A phone in the middle of nowhere and it's not even functional. That's just great. There's a cut voice line where Anne gets majorly pissed off at this.
9 shots.
Oh look, more box puzzles. Just what this game needed, as if we hadn't already done a bunch of them.
8. Eight shots.
The physics engine, while it is flawed, it is capable of doing a lot more than just box puzzles. But I think they wanted to play things safe and prevent the physics freakouts. Box puzzles are about the safest you can put into the levels, and it does delay the player somewhat. It's just infuriating because they could have done better. They were just too rushed and too cautious to really make the puzzles shine. I love trying to get longer ranged hits in this game. It's one of the few games where actual skill comes along by just playing it repeatedly. I'd say I'm a pretty good shot in this game, but I still miss from
6
time
rounds.
to time.
Five shots. Four.
Look, ignore that point blank missed shot. I did say from time to time. This area has some pretty interesting ground textures. It uses this sort of green, mossy sort of texture which isn't found anywhere else. This area was supposed to be a rocky sort of place, but they replaced the textures during development. Ground textures affect your footstep noise and work off of a square area around the texture's maximum dimensions. They realized this pretty late in development, so they replaced most of the large, complicated textures with smaller, squarish ones, so that you'd have better sound consistency.
2. 1.
Did I ever tell you how much I hate box puzzles in this game? I just want that damned MP5 that's up there. Okay, I'm starting to get a little bit embarrassed now. I think the box is stuck on the hitbox of that other crate. Yep, screw this. I'm just gonna try to shoot it down again.
6 rounds. Five, 4, 2, 1. That's it.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Six left. 5.
Finally, it's down. And for our efforts, we get a fairly mediocre gun. It's a silenced MP5. With an unrealistically large 60-round magazine capacity and 9 damage per hit, it has a pretty large theoretical pool of damage it could dish out.
Feels full.
The silencer is just for show, though. There's no stealthing around with dinosaurs like as if there was Metal Gear Solid. There's so many bones in this level. There isn't even a large carnivore on the map. Oh great, the HKVP-70. It's a burst-fire pistol, but don't let that fool you. It only does a measly 15 damage per shot, and it has a 6-round magazine. It only fires 1 bullet per trigger pull, despite the sound effect.
Gone.
I never use this gun unless I really have to.
5
In real
rounds
life,
left.
it can't even use the burst setting without a shoulder stock. In my mod, I turned it into an 18-round semi-automatic handgun. It works so much better like that.
A lost world is a sort of scientific myth, an evolutionary scenario in which an ecosystem is isolated and preserved. The rest of the world changes, leaving a tiny, fragile pocket where ancient species survive.
Yada, yada, yada.
A huge open area with the last Brachiosaurus in the game. I wish more of these guys showed up, even if they're pretty useless. This area is quite linear. These parts of the game are always just the shallowest for me. But at least we're on the right track. Following these monorail segments will bring us to the end of the level. I love the places where the human technology and nature blend to make pretty interesting set pieces.
In the winter, we began building the supports for the elevated transit system that would unify the island. Concrete towers rose through the jungle canopy.
Hammond is either lying, blind, or mad. None of these monorail segments even go above the jungle canopy, especially not the concrete pillars themselves.
2.
This weapon might seem familiar to you. It's a Barrett 50 caliber anti-material rifle.
7. 6.
Why a monorail construction site would need one of these is a mystery though. It's almost impossible to use and only really
6
shows up
rounds.
here and one other time.
5 shots. 4.
But there is another gun which I want to show you guys. It's a tranquilizer.
Lindstrat guns, by the way, Swedish made, unbeatable for accuracy and rate of fire.
So the thing about this weapon is that it doesn't actually do any damage. It tranquilizes by disabling the AI of its target, which puts them into the default standing pose. I guess they never figured out how to make a raptor get up in a convincing manner.
6 rounds.
Oh Christ, I better not have lost it already.
6 rounds.
Almost fell off.
Curving up out to the southern basin, the Atherton Causeway would bring visiting scientists north from the southern beach.
And that's what I was talking about in the previous level.
Wow. They certainly were serious about their monorail.
These monorail segments have highly simplified physics boxes. This is why everything seems to float on top of them, including Anne. I'll show you what I mean, in addition to showing off the cube physics that this game uses. Notice how when I drop the gun, it floats above the monorail. That's because that's where the actual hitbox of the monorail is. It's just badly placed and it's oversimplified.
6 left.
And when I drop the gun and let it roll, notice how it's acting more like it was a rectangular prism or a cube, rather than a flat gun that should just lay flat easily.
6 rounds.
Generally, objects roll a lot more than they should. That's because of these simplified models. There's nothing really wrong about this. It's the first game with proper physics after all, but it does mean that a lot of the players will take a long time to get accustomed to the weird physics simulation that you don't really find in any other game. See, floating clearly a good 6 inches off the ground. It just looks silly. They should have fixed this. It would have spared them from the criticism. Whoa! I forgot about this segment becoming a huge physics object after you walk along it sufficiently. What was... Oh, it just collapsed even more. You can just drop stuff on top of the raptors and that will absolutely kill them. I admit I've actually never really killed a raptor doing this though. Second try, maybe? Okay, that didn't work at all. Fun fact! At least one of these raptors is programmed to change its anchor location as you run along the monorail. This gives the illusion that it's staying nice and close to you. Tranquilized. See how it completely freezes up? That's not how tranquilizers are supposed to work. The effect is not permanent, but it's long enough that you always have enough time to get away from the raptor.
4.
And because most levels don't have backtracking, this effectively kills the raptor as far as the player is concerned.
3. Hasn't been used.
Now wasn't that a fun physics mini freakout? Heh. I don't know why this gun is messing up their physics so badly, but almost every automatic firearm is just better off fired semi-automatically to save ammo. There's supposed to be some cut dialogue in this level. Anne wonders if the monorail is actually leading to anywhere important. She remarks on how this sort of scenario should only be happening to a policeman or a ninja. You're not even supposed to be seeing raptors until the next level, which was cut of course. How things could have been different for this game. See how I got stuck in that bucket lifter? Anne walks by a large cube which rolls underneath her, which acts as her foot. This can get pretty easily stuck in thin physics objects. Oh, And raptors in the original game don't howl in pain once they're crippled, they just fall down silently. The CE patch allows you to re-enable some of the cut behaviors, and I think it makes for a much more immersive experience. Finally getting to the end of the level. Just over these boxes and the next level is in our grasp. Before we exit the level though, notice the odd valley and terrain over there. That's a perfect copy of the terrain found at the start of the next level, but without any foliage or other objects. I have no idea why they added it there, because once we get to the next level, it'll look nothing like that at all. See you guys in the next level, the Industrial Jungle. I hope you enjoyed the video.